Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brady pub. When John shows there, Steve says he doesn't know where Clyde is. Steve feels displeased with Ava, but John feels bad for her. He does question whether Ava knows more than she has disclosed. They decide to get in touch with her again. Kayla shows in at the very moment and inquires about their talk. He makes a passing reference to Clyde before he and John leave. Ava and Harris kiss at Shin boarding house. When he inquires about her feelings after leaving the bistro, she responds that she feels free. Cue imminent catastrophe in 3, 2. When Harris receives a text message stating that she has been cleared of any criminal activities following the bistro's audit, they settle down to enjoy vegan bacon. She is happy that Stefan assumed full responsibility and that their plan succeeded. Ava would like to think she's safe, but the reality is too much for too many people to know. Harris believes she is free to pursue her goals and enjoy her life. Ava acknowledges an early love of fashion when Harris asks what she wants to accomplish with her life. However, cooking has since become her true passion. May Ava wind up at Basic Black. Steve and John show up at that precise moment to discuss Clyde. She claims not to have any useful information when they inquire whether she has remembered anything. Harris requests that if John and Steve find out any new information, they notify the Salem police. To get some insight from Harris, John dispatches Steve on his way. John requests that Harris review Officer Goldman's personnel record. Harris refuses, but John persists, claiming that they have both broken the law. After Harris nods, John asks him a private question. He claims that they have both experienced brainwashing and control. Harris claims he was able to handle that circumstance because of his visit to Bayview. John is curious as to whether Harris fears that he is a ticking time bomb. Harris acknowledges having these thoughts, but he claims that the doctor's assistance in helping him better himself kept him alive. He urges John to convince himself that his actions were not motivated by his own free will. They are not at fault for their acts, they are victims. Ultimately, John needs to grant himself forgiveness. Kiriaki's mansion. Maggie is downstairs, thinking about Victor when Constantine comes downstairs. She finds it incomprehensible that Victor and Constantine were able to genuinely become friends. Thinking of Victor as a kindred soul, Constantine tells her about how Victor came to play such a significant role in his life. Victor, according to Maggie, was her second chapter. She believes that talking to Constantine has made it easier for her to comprehend the horrible deeds that emphasize Victor's early existence. Julie bursts in screaming at that moment. Julie worries when Thomas and Charlotte's spring break will finish and finds their presence annoying. Constantine apologizes and says he'll talk to Maggie later. Julie asks Maggie what's going on right away. Maggie gives Julie an update on Victor and John's involvement, as well as Constantine's daughter. Julie believes that Victor's greatest attribute was his devotion for Maggie. They raise a glass to one another and their success in finding decent men with that. Titan. When he comes to tell her how good her job is, Teresa is sitting at her desk. Brady shows up at that same moment to greet T-Boss back. He gives her an update on Holly and Tate's deceit and how Nicole and EJ support them. Teresa finds it incomprehensible that Tate would desire to remain in Holly's presence. Brady believes if they all stick together, everything will work itself out. Alex observes as they give each other hugs. Brady starts to realize that Teresa has returned to live with Alex, so Teresa starts to leave. After a brief explanation, she tells her to go. Brady wonders how Teresa moved back in with Alex so quickly. Brady warns Alex not to mess with Teresa after they trade business anecdotes. Alex observes that Brady has constantly forewarned him about Teresa and believes he is more attracted to her than he is ready to acknowledge. Brady says he has no romantic interest in Teresa but won't acknowledge anything. After that, he leaves. Horton Square. Teresa tells Constantine about her new living situation when she runs into him. Teresa needs to keep playing the hard-to-get role, according to Constantine, who feels he knows best. She knows exactly what she's doing, therefore she doesn't need his guidance. Teresa walks out, scoffing at Constantine's accent. Steve brings flowers to Kayla's office at University Hospital, and she asks him about his recent activities. She demands explanations as she is aware that something is wrong. Steve doesn't want her to have to lie in order for him to inform her. When Kayla presses harder, Steve gives in. When Steve tells her that he broke Clyde out of prison, she loses her composure. She finds it hard to believe he would act in such an idiotic manner. Kayla is furious with her husband for falling for Ava's deception, since she feels that trusting her was the worst thing Steve ever did. She runs away after telling him there's no justification for his actions. Brady and John cross paths in Horton Square. Brady starts chatting about Tate when he really wants to talk about John. Brady invites John to go to a Cubs game with him and Tate. Before Brady tries to bring up the initial subject again, John enthusiastically concurs. John claims that he may have discovered some serenity. Maggie shares with Julie how much she values her help. Julie compliments Maggie just as much before inquiring about Holly. Julie is informed by Maggie that Holly was the original owner of the pills, which upsets Julie. Julie claims that both Doug and herself, together with Constantine, are there to support her. When Alex gets home, Teresa is folding her underwear. When Teresa inquires about supper, Alex seems preoccupied. He truly drools as he walks out. When Ava comes back, she gives Harris another kiss. He dashes out to get provisions on his way back home. Ava gets a call at that exact moment from an unknown number. To locate Clyde on the other line, she answers. According to spoilers on Days of Our Lives, Clyde Weston and Goldman are escaping. However, in the week of April 8, 2024, Clyde gets in touch with Ava Vitali once more. Ava is given the task by Clyde to get him something from the closed bistro. Now, let's talk about what will happen next in the Peacock soap opera. According to DOL spoilers, Clyde and Goldman are still at large. Clyde appears to be leaving Salem, but he hasn't completely disappeared from view. Recently, Ava said that she was done with the bistro for good. Ava wants to return to her pre-bistro mission, which includes finding a respectable career and continuing on the correct course. Ava only betrayed her pledge to Trip Johnson to save him, after all. Ava may believe that this is her chance now that Clyde is out of town and the bistro is closed. However, Ava's plan will encounter another obstacle. In the week of April 8, Clyde gets in touch with Ava once more. Clyde will require Ava in another way. Naturally, Ava is aware that Trip may be abducted once more if she refuses. Trip might actually lose his life this time. Ava recently recovered from the resuscitations and deaths of Trip and Wendy Shin. Ava will never again jeopardize her son's life. According to teasers on Days of Our Lives, Clyde will want Ava to go back to the bistro. It appears that Clyde is in dire need of something from the eatery. If Clyde didn't need to get in touch with Ava, he wouldn't take the chance. Naturally, Ava won't want to sneak into the bistro and grab Clyde anything. But if she doesn't, Ava will be concerned about the repercussions. Most likely, Clyde will swear that this is his final transaction with Ava. Clyde is most likely lying about that, of course. It's possible that Clyde intends to get rid of Ava by bringing her inside the bistro. Keep an eye out since Ava has complicated things for Clyde from the beginning. What do you believe Ava needs to acquire from the bistro for Clyde? Is it a trap, and might Ava find herself in a fatal situation? How is Ava going to handle Clyde's persistent demands? Clyde is going to be apprehended eventually, so we'll see how this plays out. Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. Don't forget to keep watching Peacock Soap Opera to see what happens next.